Welcome. I'm here with Patrick Parker of Empower ID to talk about his perspective on sort of the most relevant tech innovation for the future of business in the digital age. Patrick, welcome.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Yeah. Maybe you say a few words about yourself.
Sure. I'm Patrick Parker. I'm the founder and CEO of Empower ID. I've been in the identity and access management space since about 1999, so that might date me. I've seen the different revolutions it's gone through, and I hope that I've seen enough customer situations to offer some advice or at least have a perspective.
Okay, great. I'm, by the way, since 1989 or 1990, I'm in that space, early land manager and stuff like that. But anyway, we're not here to talk about our history, but we are here to talk about tech innovation that impacts business in the digital age. And so what is, from your perspective, the number one you would pick?
I would say it's hyperautomation. So the merging, we're all suffering a brain drain. The great resignations left us with fewer people. Systems are getting more complex, tasks getting more complex, but customers are becoming, even more demanding for quicker fulfillment, more rapid turnaround. So I see the traditional work blending and merging to where the handoff between automation, bots, and intelligence and humans is not going to be a human does a task and a bot does a task. It's going to be a bot might initiate a task. At some point, the human's involved in the task. At some point, it goes back to the bot. And it'd be a blend of different modalities of what's handling each of the different pieces. So more about augmentation of human abilities to help with the work.
Yeah, I like this augmentation thing because I think also when we look at AI, it is really more about augmenting intelligence than artificial intelligence in some way. This augmentation is, I would also say, the key thing. And so you're saying hyperautomation means that we, by combining technology and humans, can become way more productive in everything we do in IT or beyond.
Exactly. So a human being can spawn things, or their desires are then fulfilled by the bots that summarize the information, perform some tasks, and report back maybe for next steps. So the human can provide the intelligence or the context or the business meeting, and the bot does all the hard work.
Could you maybe explain with a few examples how this fits into concrete business cases and where the business value stems from?
So one, from a security and risk perspective, we're actually building right now, we call it Azure Tattletale. And the tattletale is like in the school, the kid who would point out everything that someone's doing wrong and tell the teacher. So from a risk perspective, what Tattletale does is it's sitting there monitoring for someone to log into one of your cloud systems, like Azure in this case. It'll monitor, detect from the APIs and the logs that there's an admin, a privileged user, performing some activities. It'll write out to Teams channels and say, who is this user? Gathering the information about their login session, what might be anomalous versus how they typically authenticate, how did they get this access, how recently did they acquire this access, and then it will monitor their activities, converting privilege usage into more of a functional perspective. What are they doing? How risky is it? Is this something they've done for the first time? Is it something they often do? And provide summary so that admins can be alerted, they could take action, and you'll have a summary about what are people doing in those systems. So it's more of a real-time threat detection and analytics.
Okay, and do you see also a scope beyond, let's say, the admin level then for hyperautomation?
Well, human involvement. So there's RPA, which is automating processes. The RPA needs to be able to integrate into different systems securely. And humans then will be able to spawn audit processes. Like I come into my office and I have a startup routine, which is going to log me into all the systems. It's going to gather some data. It's going to produce the reports. It maybe needs to authenticate and do some things against some APIs. But that's going to augment my ability to get started on my day and to help me get to the next step.
So it's when we take RPA, it's not that we say, okay, we take this job and we replace it by a robot. It's saying you do your job and then the robots help you more or less seamlessly in the background whenever you need it. So we make people more productive.
Exactly. Like a lot of automation when the cable guy comes on site to troubleshoot your cable. But when he steps on site, bots are going out and gathering all the logs, your previous history, everything, so that he has it on one screen so he can immediately analyze the data. So the bot's not doing the job, but the bot is making it possible for the human to apply their intelligence and quickly solve the problem.
And doing the job even better because they can gather a lot of information and come up with recommendations, etc. So what happens to businesses that don't look at hyperautomation?
They won't be able to compete because the customer will expect, if cable company A, the guy arrives on site, he knows everything, it's summarized it, he quickly has intelligent questions, versus company B without hyperautomation. They come on site, they spend a lot of time on the phone, looking through screens, digging information, asking you questions that you already answered previously, not really knowing your situation. The customer satisfaction is going to drive the customer away from those companies who can be less competitive. They can't really compete with a hyper-automated company.
Yeah. And where do we stand with hyperautomation today?
Say again?
Where do we stand with that?
I'd say we're about 5 to 10% in right now. Because right now, a lot of the technologies are just developing. Business process automation into more of a playbook style, coupled with the RPA to be able to drive user interfaces where humans used to use it, coupled with the idea that we need to secure these bot interactions and provide them data access or orchestration. It's all kind of coming together right now to where you can build these end-to-end processes.
Okay, got it. This sounds like a really great innovation. Hyperautomation as something which helps to better augment humans by technology and to become more productive and to automate a lot of things without splitting the tasks, but saying this is really something which always happens in the background. It happens immediately. You don't frequently not even see it, or sometimes you see it, but positively.
And it can aid zero trust because users do not necessarily have to have direct access into all those systems. There's a zero trust proxy layer where the bot is doing some things on your behalf. So as long as the bot's identity and authorization are well governed, then you're reducing the number of users that have direct privileged access. So the bot's kind of an abstraction layer, anti-corruption layer in the middle there.
Okay, great. Patrick, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
Always a pleasure.
For giving us your insights. Thank you to everyone listening to us. Hope you tune in soon for one of the other episodes of these conversations. Thank you.